This looks a bit better. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see a picture and we can hear you.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So, the growing conditions in Mosjøen. I'll just say something about this wonderful picture. And this is, I guess, my growing conditions. I'm on my shoulder of my brother, and it's my sister next to us. Yes, and here we have the map. This is Mosjøen in the middle of Norway. For those who didn't know that, I'm just gonna scroll briefly through the pictures about the unpredictable weather and the clay. This is from my home and my family's greenhouses. And this is how I remember it. It was clay and really wet. I'm just gonna go past these pictures. And then we're back preparing for winter. So hopefully we'll have some good days and the autumn can be really nice at our place. So we have a lot to see against. The overall goal, the state administrator in Nordland, Troms and Finnmark, all the northern counties, are working together to get more knowledge and to strengthen the food safety and the security. So, and they have chosen an overall goal to strengthen and increase the production of potatoes, vegetables, and berries in northern Norway. We have some issues, and the government don't think we eat enough healthy. We are not self-sufficient. We have high import from developing countries, and a lot of the consumed food in the north are actually produced on other countries' resources. And I think it's a quite heavy footprint to put from Norway. I don't think we are alone about this, but it's definitely something to think about. Our challenges, we can have quite high temperature. The warmest recorded in our country was actually made or registered in Mosjøen in 2019, and it was 35 degrees, and the coldest is in Grane, 40 minutes south of our city, and minus 44. That's really cold. In Nordland, there's only 1.9% of the total land area that is actually agricultural land. And if I don't remember wrong, 25% of this area is not in use either. So we have something to deal with. All of these challenges are forcing us to use the tools we have. For instance, we have to start a growing season indoor to make sure the plants have the best beginning in their life possible. And we also have to choose the best plant material in order to get the best production. And even if we can reach some high temperature, it probably won't last very long, and it probably won't repeat for several years, and the possibilities that we are ending up with an average day temperature of 10-15 degrees are quite more possible. So the distances, and there are distances and small professional communities for the growers, and of course not enough time for some plants to mature. But well, there are also some benefits. We have long days with photosynthetic light. It's maybe not too cold and not too warm, which is quite suitable for the most plants. And it gets the vegetables and the berries can reach a crispier and sweeter taste in several of the vegetables and fruits. I guess Sunniva will be going further into this material after. There's been a research made by NIBIO, which is the Norwegian Institute of Bioeconomic. I suddenly had a Norwegian Institute of Biolog. No, can somebody help me? Okay, it's NIBIO. So it's more antioxidants in blueberries. We have sweeter carrots and strawberries. And we call this the Arctic quality. So this is defined as the effect of northern growth conditions on this product quality. Luckily, we can access some field trips and excursions. And in last autumn, we had the opportunity to participate in one of the state administrators project called Market Garden in northern Norway. So several people get together with same interest and want to grow their own food. I came to remember when I was little, we had this kind of garden at our school, and we had a square, probably 4 meters, and we had to do some work. Every pupil had to do some work and maintain it during the summer. And the market gardens, as we see it, is a new trend. It's a kind of popular way to grow your own food. I don't think it's just because of COVID, but I see definitely a higher interest of these gardens after COVID. This try to see if this works. This is from the field trip. Really bad weather this day, so it was almost impossible to make a good video. It was really rainy, and yeah, there we have it. NIBIO, Norwegian Institute of Bioeconomy Research, quite difficult word. And the NLR, which is Sunniva is working in. Norwegian Agricultural Extension Service. So we have good help from NIBIO and NLR, and they're testing new cultivars just to make sure we have the best opportunities that we can. Yeah, I think they have a quite important role in our agricultural. They're really important, yeah. And because we got quite lucky to join in this collaboration, and NIBIO and NLR started a project just to inspire new berry growers to try the new production methods in tunnels and greenhouses. And it started in 2017, and with 6 growers, and I think we ended up with 20 when we joined in. So this is a quite important call it a collaboration. We can talk to the others, sharing our probably we have the same problems, and this possibilities to have someone to talk to and ask, it's really valuable. And we have arranged several meetings at our school with the growers in our closest in our region. And then I'll be saying something about our strawberries. The genus name comes from the Latin word fraga, probably comes from the fragrance and refers to the perfume of the fruit. And the hybrid name Ananassa is referred to the aggregated fruit, which is said to resemble like a pineapple. So from the late 90s, there was an increased focus on methods of cultivations and demands of the choice of cultivars. Many large growers had experienced really bad winter times and bad winter survival, and lost really many plants during the 90s and the early 2000s. So after some increased pressure from the industry, the Department for Food and Agriculture opened up for some imports of strawberry plants in January 2015. And the state administrator in Nordland made a conclusion in the final report from 2016 that the biggest challenge still is winter survival. And he says the new cultivation technique of using production-ready plants in plastic tunnels is an alluring thought here in the north. So this was the start of the tunnel industry, at least in northern Norway. This is an example of the plants we are using, and this is Frigo plants. They are kept in cold storage, and they're almost frozen when they are delivered, and they have different they're sorted in different sizes. So the plant is dormant when they are when they are standing out the plants, and they are harvested. This is normally we get plants from the Netherlands. There are some other lands producing plants as well. Norway are producing some, but it's not enough. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to get enough material to deliver. So they are sorted by the thickness of the rhizome, so that you can predict the number of inflorescence, or mainly the number of flowers in what each single plant will produce. We have tried several of these plants, and if I'm not incorrect, this year we will only have the one to the left, to the right, tray plants. These are much easier to plant, so it's time is real good in not using too much time. So this is from our tunnel, and it's 60 meters long. 5 lines we have of tabletop, and we have a capacity up to 3,000 plants. Normally we have only 2,500, but we could squeeze it up to 3,000. And we have drip irrigation and a sprinkler system, and we can close the doors to, if it's really going to be cold, we can close them and we can open them up in the morning. And I think the sprinkler system is important in the production if it gets really warm, and it could be that. So we can spray the tissue of the leaf just to cool them down a bit, or they will be boiling. And also in the fight against mildew, we can use the sprinkler to keep down the pressure of fungus. But of course, you have to use it correctly and don't use it over too long time. Just 1 minute, so it's probably to dry up the tissue before next time you do it. We are planting mainly in peat. Some of the other growers are using wooden fibers and moss. So there has been done some testing. So we'll see what we will end up with. But for now, we will use peat. So the cultivation of strawberry has been done in Norway for about 200 years. It was the monks who brought them into the country from Southern Europe. And in 2000, we had almost 1,200 growers. And it was reduced just, I have to say, a short number of years. It's 16 years, but still it's not for a long time. And then the growers were reduced to 400. But we have increased consumption, and we have also increased import. The Norwegian consumption of fresh strawberries is actually increased by 70% from 2009 and up to 2018. It was the latest numbers I could find. So our consumption is mostly covered by import. So we need to grow. We need to grow more. Then a picture of the strawberry flower and some maturing fruit. It actually isn't a fruit. We call it a false fruit or an aggregate accessory fruit because the fleshy part is not from the plant's ovaries, but from the receptacle that holds the ovaries. So each seed, or what looks like a seed, is actually one of the ovaries at a flower and has a seed inside it. So I think this is quite cool to see when the flower and when it starts to mature and grow, almost just like from the flower. We are using bumblebees in our production, and it's just really a cardboard box with they have some sugar water, if that's the correct words, during the transport, and we have to open it, and they live their greatest life in the tunnel. Luckily, there is some new research, and we have a lot of companies who want to try out new methods. So I'll see if this is a small video, and this is a Norwegian product, of course, with other agri-technology companies and some shareholders that puts a lot of money into this. And this is Torvald. I have to show if this is possible to run. Yeah, that was Thorvald. And they're using UV light in the fight against powdery mildew. This robot, they're also building other varieties, and they are trying to, or are doing some robots to help in the picking of strawberry as well. It's quite unique to look at. I don't think we are big enough to get one at the school, but I think it's kind of it's cool. In the end, I'll say something briefly about some scientific names. I think chefs are quite good at seeking new knowledge, and they travel a lot and are discovering new tastes. And I think that scientific names, it's really important just to know what plant is being used. And this guy, we can't talk about a scientific name without mentioning Carl von Linné, the Swedish guy who was a physician and biologist, and he is known as the father of binomial nomenclature. He named over 12,000 species of plants and animals, and still his most famous book, Systema Naturae and Species Planetarum, are still being used by scientists today. I think he was in his mid-20s when he has completed his work. I don't think many other in the age of 25 has done something similar. Luckily, he didn't have the internet or any other distractions, so maybe he had some good chance to do the work. So a binomial name consists of two parts. It's the generic name and the specific epithet. So example in tomato, the scientific name is Solanum lycopersicum, and the common name is tomato. There are special rules how to write it and how to pronounce the name. I guess in the Finnish, in January, when Finland had the webinar, Ville Heimola did a really thorough representation in this subject. So I will just briefly mention it, that there are rules on how you write and pronounce it. I have not taught all the correct way to say a botanical name, but yeah, I have potential to and time to try to be better. So this some thoughts about my first awareness of some scientific names. This is me and my sister, me with the beautiful haircut to the left. And I grew up among summer flowers and tomatoes and cucumbers and vegetables, not unlike what the school here are producing. And in the mid 80s, late 80s, it was quite bad economic time. And due to this, my daddy had to rethink the business. So we threw out all of the tomatoes and cucumbers, and we got rolling benches and tables in every greenhouse, and they got filled up with houseplants. And we bought it directly from the Netherlands and Denmark as cutlings and also as a nearly finished product. And lately I've been thinking about how it must have been for him to do this reorganization of the greenhouses. I don't think he could have done it without the knowledge of the scientific names, because how do you know what to buy, and how are you going to survive almost if you don't know what you are dealing with? It's really important. So many customers out in our garden or the shop at the greenhouse, they always wonder, oh, does it have to be so difficult? And why is it so hard to understand? Well, the scientific name was written in Latin, which was the written and spoken communication back in the old days. And all the scientists and scholars knew Latin, so they didn't have to learn a different language to understand the system. And it's since it's no longer spoken, it's considered as a dead language. So I think it's kind of convenient to have a dead language, so it won't change, and it won't evolve like other languages do. So this is going to be exactly the same always. Should we use just the common names, or should we use scientific names? Well, that's something to think about. I think we need both of them. Common names are often easy to remember, and it can originate and refer to multiple different plants, and it can create some confusion. It's quite different from one country to another, but it's more than just the name. It's our history, it's our identity and culture through generations. Many plants are being brought from daughter to mother to grandmother, so it's quite our history. And just as an example, the Brassica napus we call kålrot and kålrabi here in Norway. But if we travel just over to Sweden and ask for a kålrabi, we'll get a different type of brassica. Then we'll get a Brassica oleracea gongylodis group. So it's we need the scientific names to be sure that we are talking about the same plant and product. Well, why do we need these names? Like I said, the chefs are good at traveling, and we have an increasing food travel and food tourism. And we also have increasing interest in foraging, picking food from the wild and from other places has increased, and it's really important to know what to pick. This is a picture of selsnepe. I had to look it up. It's called a cobane or a water hemlock, and it's in the Umbellifera family, related to the celery and the parsley and the carrot. So this is really, really poisonous. So that's also something to think of. It's quite sustainable with the trendy foraging activity, but make sure you know what you're dealing with. It could have a quite bad outcome. It could lead to death in worst case. I think we are getting to the end. I had to bring a picture of my dog in the end because she's called Telia, and that's a scientific name as well, quite suitable. She's a garden dog, and that's scientific for the linden tree. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for bearing with my stuttering. This is not something I usually do, so I think it's good. It would have been quite bad income, I think, if I should do some more presentations. So then I think we'll hand over the next chapter to